Hey yo, Go Format players, it's Skilled Brown Magician here, and I'm back with a personal brew that I've been working on for maybe a month now. And this is my deck, Smoke Freed Drain. So let's get into the key cards in the deck. And really, what we are focusing on is Gearfried, the Iron Knight. And you already know his effect. He's a level 4 warrior, earth monster with 1800 attack, a solid 1600 defense, and he blows up equipped spells. We combo this with Smoke Grenade of the Thief, which is one of the most bizarre effects, especially for an equip spell. It reads, well, I'm paraphrasing, but it reads something along the lines of when this is blown up while it's equipped to a monster, you get to look into your opponent's hand and select one card and send it to the graveyard. So, super crazy. You basically have Gearfried the Iron Knight equip Smoke Grenade of the Thief, and you instantly get to look into their hand, take a card away, and send it to the graveyard. And that is not just a monster card like Trap Dust Shoot. It allows you to take away any card, whether it's a trap, a spell, a Trinity piece. It's really nice, and you just send it to grave right away. We are combining this, and the theme of the deck is to take away cards from your opponent's hand. So we have Trap Dust Shoot, of course, making its appearance. You just get to bounce one of their monsters back into their deck, which is really useful. And the Spice continues to go with the theme of taking cards out of your opponent's hand. It's the counter trap Magic Drain. Check out that artwork. You probably already saw it on the thumbnail, but really, this card, not only is the artwork super dope, but the effect is crazy too. I'm going to paraphrase, but the effect is basically you negate your opponent's spell card. The only way for them to get around this is if they can pitch another spell to their graveyard. So if they activate a Pot of Greed, you can chain Magic Drain, and because it's counter trap, that means it's spell speed 3. And the only way you can stop Magic Drain is if you have like Solemn Judgment, which is also a counter trap or spell speed 3. So Magic Drain, I think it's super underrated, and I'm gonna start experimenting with it more. It's really nasty in certain states of the game, which I'll go over in the stratagems. But let's say your opponent uses Pot of Greed, you chain Magic Drain. The only way their Pot of Greed is going off is if they can pitch another spell from their hand to the graveyard. That's if they have a spell that they want to send to the graveyard, and that's if they have a spell, period. So this is kind of the theme of the deck. Let's get into the profile. So this is Smoke Free Drain, and I'm really just kind of trying to put my opponent on a clock and just keep hitting them with these cards and these combos where I'm taking away cards from their hand and just making it really difficult for them to play. So this is the build. I have, triple Goblin Attack Force. We do have one copy of Injection Fairy Lily. We have our triple Gearfried, which is complemented by our triple Smoke Grenade of the Thief. And then basically, like if you look at the top row, those are all kind of like our beat sticks. And then the second row is all of our monster removal. So we have our, DD lineup, and we just run two DD assailants, and then we run DD Warrior Lady and Exiled Force. Exiled Force is really nice with Gigantes. We have MS level 2 just to take out their face downs. And then obviously we're running the Rhoda, so you're able to search out your Exiled, your DD Warrior Lady, your MS level 2. And then also, if you need to search your Gearfried to go directly into Smoke Grenade of the Thief, that is also an option. So it's like you're running 5 copies of Gearfried, and then you have the 3 copies of Smoke Grenade of the Thief. Yeah, and then we're running all the usual, spells, the good spells. We have a Double Knock, MST, Heavy Storm. As far as the trap lineup, that's where we're running the double Magic Drain, double Dust Shoot. And then we have the double copies of Solemn Judgment just to maintain our board and push our attacks through and get everything going. Also, Call of the Haunted and Prima just makes it so we have like second and third copy of everything, depending on what's in our graveyard. This is really great to special summon a Goblin Attack Force to get that extra body. Special summon our MS level 2 from grave, get another pop with Exile Force. So it's just really nice. Also goes well with Gearfried to go into Grenade. Yeah, so this is a build. If you really wanted to optimize it, I know people are not fans of Smoke Grenade of the Thief and they would rather run Blast with Chain. Honestly, Blast with Chain definitely cooler because it's a trap and it doesn't just go well with Gearfried. It increases, by 500 attack, so that's useful with Donzalug. You can do little funny things like that. But really, I just wanted to go with kind of the unconventional approach and just show you the spice and show you what's the best way of playing Smoke Grenade of the Thief. I don't think, there's been a lot of profiles showcasing Smoke Grenade of the Thief. So here's my add-in to the race. Yeah, we got 16 monsters, 14 spells, 10 traps. There was something else I was gonna say, but maybe I'll just say it as we go through some of the stratagems. If you've been enjoying the content, please let me know. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment. I do make profiles for my subscribers. My next profile, which we'll see at the end, is going to be for one of my subs. And he left a comment on the last video. So let's go ahead and see. So here's the main stratagems. Freed plus Smoke Grenade of the Thief. What's really nice about this is hand knowledge and you get to send any card to graveyard. This is even better than Dust Shoot. Just because Dust Shoot, there's some certain requirements that need to be met. Your opponent has to have 4 cards. Also, you're only allowed to send a monster back. So if they don't have a monster in hand, which, usually they do, but if you're playing a deck that runs a low monster count like Reasoning Gate, it's not always guaranteed that you're going to even get to send a monster back to their deck. So Freed plus Smoke Grenade is a lot different. You just straight up get to look at their hand. It's not, based on how many cards they have at the time. So you don't have to wait around until they have 4 cards. You could just pop it whenever you want. And then you get to send any card to their grave. So you can send, a Trinity piece. So like if you attack into their Magician of Faith, you can like hold your Smoke Grenade, attack into their face down. And then if it's a Magician of Faith, you just snipe their Pot of Greed back to their graveyard again, which is, it's pretty slick. And then you reinforce this with a Drain, a Solemn, or a Dust Shoot. So here's what I mean. If you open up turn 1 and you go Freed plus Smoke Grenade, you get to take a card out of their hand. Then you back it up with like, a Magic Drain. You have a Solemn just to say no to anything, or a Dust Shoot to just snipe another card out of their hand. It just gets really filthy, and they have to start playing out of a pretty bad position. You're just taking so many cards off of them. So that's the idea, and that's when it starts to feel really good with this deck. Here's something. Drain becomes so powerful in the late game, or just when your opponent doesn't have that many cards. And like you'll see in my replay, saying no to late game like Pot of Greed or Graceful Charity just feels so busted because they have like, it's a top decking war. And if you top deck Pot of Greed, you're so happy. You're like, okay, finally, I'm going to get 2 cards. Let's get 2 cards deeper into my deck. You drop the Pot of Greed. And then if you just say Magic Drain and you top deck Pot of Greed, you're screwed. So, dude, Drain is like low key. I think this build, if you know you're going first and you go triple Drain, triple Dust Shoot, it can low key be pretty devastating. It can be pretty nasty. I definitely think there's ways to play this. Okay, Exiled is monster removal, plus it allows you to special summon Gigantes, and it allows you to just keep tempo and gets you another body and removes a body off of their field. So again, if you normal summon Exiled, you can pop one of their monsters, and then you have an Earth Engrave, which allows you to special summon Gigantes from hand, allows you to keep a body, take a body off their field, poke for 1900, and maybe you have like a card left over from last turn, so you can poke with another monster. So Exiled is just really nice, um, especially with the Gigantes. You can play it with Giant Rat, so you can tutor out your MS level 2, your Exiled Force, your Injection Fairy Lily. But I just wanted to play kind of like beat sticks with DD Assailant and really just kind of put the clock on my opponent. Um, Giant Rat, I definitely think, is a viable substitute for the double DD Assailant. You could go double Giant Rat, and I think that could go really well. So, also an option. All right. So, let's actually, before we get into the next profile and the final announcement, let's get into the replay. I want to show off some of the spice here. So, we're going to go game one. And game one, this is like, I think my first time playing it. And here I was running the Giant Rats. But yeah, so game one was a little rough. He opened really ideal. You know, he got Thunder Dragons graceful. Pretty nice way to start. And then he goes T-set. So I draw, and I'm just going to get rid of whatever the face down is. I don't want to run into a early Magician of Faith, get back graceful. And I'm just going to swing in here, try to poke for the 2300. And then he actually has a Scapegoat. So that is like one of the banes of this deck. Fortunately, I have Tribe Infecting Virus in hand. So I'm going to set the Dust Shoot, and then I'm going to snipe something. I forget what I said. Okay, so I send his BLS. And then he goes Meta. Yeah. Thousand Eyes Restrict. Pokes for 2300. And sets one card. No back row. I actually have the Rhoda here, so I'm able to even get my Exile Force. And I'm going to have to pitch my Giant Rat. I want to hold on to my Gearfried because I'm running, 3 copies of Grenade, so I want that to be live. Swing it to the Sangan, get Serp, and I'm just going to leave his 2 tokens up for now. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have sent Gearfried. But regardless, he would have been able to swing over because he did have Breaker. So he would have just been able to swing over anyways. Yeah, so first game here, pretty rough. I finally do get Smoke Grenade. And I decide I am going to snipe a card out of his hand. So I get rid of another creature swap, which would have been devastating. I swing over my own tribe. He's going to be able to poke over my Gearfried. I'm going to hope that he doesn't have any monsters. And here, he just sets one. And I decide, I'm going to try to get rid of his back row and clear his face down. And he did have the Magician of Faith. So I should have just exiled there, but it is what it is. It was game one. He got to go first, opened with Thunder Dragon and Graceful. So I was like, I remember playing this, and I was like, all right, let me go first. Let's see how things go when I go first. So I was confident in the build. I was like, I think I can do this. My deck can do this. Let me go. Let me go first. So I go Gearfried. I go Dust Shoot. I go Magic Drain. I have a pretty crazy start here. I wish I had Smoke Grenade so I could have just sniped a card right away turn 1. But Dust Shoot's good enough. I'm able to send back one of his cards. I don't know what it was. I should have just revealed. So what was nasty here was, okay, I sent back one of his monsters. I forget what it was. Sorry, I should have done that. I think I could check log. My bad. Let's check log. I think it'll say. Oh, so I did return a Sinister Serpent, and he had the tribe in hand. So that was actually a really good snipe with Dushu. So I'm glad that I checked the log. So there you go, guys. I sniped the Sinister Serpent. What I noticed when I used Dushu, this fool only has one spell in his hand, Pot of Greed, and I had the Magic Drain set. So nasty. Just straight up say no. You can't use it. I know that he has the Magician of Faith, and luckily enough, I top deck. I literally top deck the knock. Pretty nasty. And then just gonna go in for 1800 here, and then he sets the Decree. I should have been more prepared for that. Well, actually, I am prepared. I have MST. So thank goodness I have MST. He goes into Tribe, and that's all right. He had to pitch a card to swing over my Gearfried. That's fine. I'll take the 1600. And I can pop the Decree, and now I have Gearfried back with Call of the Haunted, and I have it backed with the Solemn. He has one face down, but I have Solemn. I'm just going to swing over. And then he just sets his DD Warrior Lady. Here it's starting to get good. And I'm going to go MS level 2 to clear the face down. And then he did have Scapegoats. But I decide I just don't want to leave him with any monsters. And because I have the Magic Drain in hand, I feel like, hey, I'm going to give up the Solemn, but I still have protection with the Magic Drain. And I just didn't want to leave him any monsters. I didn't want to play that game. So I just wanted to keep him down on the cards and really just enforce my board. And then here's what I'm talking about, guys. 2 for 2 on the Magic Drains. We just straight up go top deck, Graceful Charity. I have Magic Drain. Say no. I draw into another monster. That's game. Such a nasty card. I'm telling you, I really do think that Magic Drain, it deserves some looking into. I think it's a really good card, and it could be abused in like Warriors. Okay. We go Rhoda just to get the Exiled Force, and I'm going to swing over the Kaiku. And he lets it go through. I don't know what the back row is. And it is a Decree. So that is a big, that's going to be a bummer for me. Because I have 2 traps right now, so I just got to wait around. Hopefully I can draw an out, my MST or Heavy, or Breaker even. And I'm just going to get rid of the Chaos Orc. I set the mirror. And he has nothing, so I'm actually going to go just straight up into the combo. I go Gearfried, Smoke Grenade. And let's see, because I'm able to check the hand. So I'm able to just view the entire hand. He has the BLS. I don't want to deal with that because he already has the Darkened Grave. He's already setting up the Magician of Faith. And he has the 2 Thunder Dragons. So this is just get rid of the BLS. And that's actually crucial that I got rid of that. Like the whole game, I'm able to get around that Chaos Monster. And he goes Smashing Ground. And then he drew the Sangan. So he clears my Gearfried, pokes for 1,000. That's okay. And for now, I'm just going to take the pokes because I'm just like, it's all right. It's not the end of the world. And this is where it actually gets pretty nice. I feel like I make the read here. It's a little obvious. I guess it's not really much of a read, so I'm patting myself on the back a little much, but Injection Fairy is so good under Decree because you just know it could swing in a back row. So I swing over the Sangan. We got a game now. It's 4,000 life points to 3,300 life points. And he gets the Tsukiyomi back with Sangan. Because he gets the Tsukiyomi back, I'm like, oh boy, he has the Faith. He has Magician of Faith set. And he's getting ready. I view the opponent's graveyard, and he has Smashing Ground. But just from him getting the Sook, I make the read. I'm like, let's not deal with it. I was holding the Prima, and we had the Exile in grave. So I popped the Magician of Faith and pass turn. He gets Upstart, and then he does Sook into Knock, pokes for 1100. Yeah, really close game. And then, heart of the cards, redraw into our boy, Gearfried, the Iron Knight. Poke for 18. Playing around, Royal Decree. Sets 1. Still have nothing. I have too many traps. Get over his Tsukiyomi. He's able to set my Gearfried. Gets his draw. And we win the match. So there is the deck in action. Honestly, guys, I was super hyped off that win. Yeah, you guys, this deck, it runs pretty well. Definitely think that there could be improvements to it. I think you could go for the Giant Route lineup to complement the Gigantes if you wanted to. I think you could optimize going burst. You could run triple Magic Drain, triple of the Trap Dushu, and just give them a super hard time. But yeah, that's the smoke free drain deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. And for my subs, I gotta give a shout out. My next deck profile for the sub recommended series is going to be Fiend Gate. Shout outs to Jimzo. He had the most liked comment, and we're gonna run it. And we're gonna build this Fiend Gate, Reasoning Gate deck with just fiends. We'll try to figure out something spicy. And yeah, be looking forward to that later this week. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. See you in the Shadow Realm. Peace.